Global TV News Prime. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu swears in Dr. Mustaka Dharma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. Business Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy Taiwo Oyedele pledges to sustain economic reforms. And on the foreign scene, NIDCOM warns Nigerians in South Africa as anti-foreigner protest escalates. And in sports, Nigerian Nations League Super 4 winner to earn 10 million naira. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now, the news in full. The federal government has increased particular allowances, welfare benefits, and ex-ox packages for civil servants. Nigeria's head of civil service, D.D. Wilson-Jack, disclosed this at a briefing in Abuja. The move is expected to increase the take-home pay of civil servants and boost the morale of the government's workforce. Wilson-Jack said the increment affects workers under the Consolidated Public Service Salary Structure and the Consolidated Research and Allied Institutions Salary Structure. According to her, the allowances have been structured to reflect across all grade levels, leading to better earnings for senior and junior officers. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sworn in Dr. Mustaka Dharma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the President's Conference Room, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Dharma, a former Executive Secretary of the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, was confirmed by the Senate on Thursday after a screening exercise. His nomination was earlier convened to an upper chamber in a letter read by Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Over now to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Nasarawa State University, KEFI branch, has raised concerns over what it described as a continued neglect of key issues affecting staff welfare and the university system. The union is now calling on the Nasarawa state government to urgently address its demand to prevent a breakdown of industrial harmony. Priscilla Obasi tells us more.
At a press conference held at the Assembly Hall of Nasarawa State University, KEFI, the union expressed dissatisfaction over unresolved issues despite several engagements with the state government. Asu Unsuk noted that failure to act promptly on its demand could disrupt academic activities and further weaken the education system. The union is demanding the immediate implementation of the 40% salary increment recently agreed upon at the national level, alongside payment of arrears of earned academic allowances and outstanding salary adjustments.
This briefing is aimed at drawing urgent attention to the continued neglect of critical issues affecting our members and the university system by the Nasarawa state government. Despite several engagements and appeals, these issues remain unresolved, thereby threatening industrial harmony within the university.
Other demands include adequate funding of the university, implementation of professorial allowances, payment of minimum wage arrears, and the domestication of the contributory pension scheme. Asu Unsuk also called for the regular constitution of visitation panel to ensure accountability as well as improved welfare for retired professors. The union warned that continued inaction could lead to a decline in quality education, increased brain drain, and disruption of academic programs.
Asu Unsuk remained committed to dialogue and constructive engagement. However, the patience of our members is not infinite. We therefore urge the Nasarawa state government to act decisively and responsibly in resolving these issues without further delay. Failure to do so will leave the union with no option but to take all lawful steps necessary to protect the interests of its members and preserve the integrity of the university system.
While reaffirming its commitments to dialogue, the union says it may be forced to take lawful steps if its demands are not addressed. Priscilla Obasi, Global TV News.
The National Rescue Movement has expressed delight over the decision by a federal high court in Abuja to strike out a contempt case filed against the national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Josh Amopitan. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court in Abuja had, in a ruling on April 21st, struck out a contempt case brought against Amopitan over INEC's alleged failure to comply with an order of the court. Justice Abdulmalik struck out the case on the grounds following failure of the applicant Edoze Unjoku and his team to diligently prosecute the charge as required by law. A non-governmental organization, Let's Talk Humanity Initiative, has stressed the need of using technology to expand access to education for persons with disabilities in Nigeria. The founder of the initiative, Fatima Ganduje Ajimobi, at the event in Abuja organized by the initiative to unveil a documentary showcasing a decade of impact in promoting inclusion, as well as to mark its 10th-year anniversary. Mukhtar Kasim reports.
The event brought together policymakers, advocates, and stakeholders to reflect on 10 years of humanitarian work with the screening of a documentary titled Seen, Heard, and Included, which captures the journey, impact, and evolution of the initiative over the past decade.
Blind using computer is unimaginable. Through the impact of the ICT facility established by LTH, now blinds are knowledgeable.
Founder of the initiative, Fatima Ganduje Ajimobi, said the documentary presents the organization's story of resilience, growth, and sustained commitment to inclusion. She noted that it reflects years of intervention aimed at improving access to education and opportunities for persons with disabilities.
Because today is not just about watching a documentary, it is about witnessing possibilities, it is about amplifying voices, and it is about challenging all of us to think about access, opportunity, and what we truly mean by collective responsibility.
The Vice Principal of Tudun Maliki Special School, Kano, Ibrahim Karim, in a keynote address, highlighted the realities of inclusive education in Nigeria.
With such efforts of our great mentor, I know those who look at Nigeria negatively will, as English people say, turn a new leaf. Instead of treating the country negatively, they will resolve to treating it positively.
In a goodwill message, the former national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who is also the founder's father, commended the initiative for its impact on inclusive education and social development.
If what we have seen could be adopted by our executive governors, by development partners, by various philanthropists, there is no doubt there will be a big change in our society.
Other dignitaries who delivered goodwill messages include Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard Doro, Representative of the Minister of State, FCT, Mejida Adamu, Chairman, Nigeria in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri, among others. They called for stronger collaboration to expand opportunities for persons with disabilities across the country. Highlights of the event was entertainment by various groups with disabilities.
As they get assistance to exit the stage. Thank you.
As Let's Talk Humanity marks a decade of impact, stakeholders emphasize the need to shift from celebration to scaling solutions for greater inclusion. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global TV News.
Over now to the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has sworn in 7 new permanent secretaries into the state public service and also inaugurated the chairman and members of the Lagos State Health Service Commission. Confirming the appointment on X, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Lagos State Gbenga Omotosho, said the ceremony was held at the banquet hall of Lagos House, Ikeja, where the governor charged the new appointees to demonstrate professionalism, accountability, and commitment to efficient service delivery across the state ministries and agencies. Sanwo-Olu urged the appointees to see their new roles as a call to greater responsibility, stressing the need to strengthen governance structures and improve service delivery, particularly in critical sectors such as health, infrastructure, and public administration. Leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Nigeria's southeast have intensified calls for unity and strategic realignment as Governor Hope Uzodinma hosted a high-level delegation from Abia State led by Benjamin Kalu at the Government House in Owerri. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, tells us more.
The atmosphere at the Government House banquet in Owerri reflects growing political urgency in Nigeria's southeast as Governor Hope Uzodinma received a high-powered delegation of leaders from the Abia State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, led by the Deputy Speaker of House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu. The visit brought together key figures within the ruling party, all converging to deliberate on the region's political future, with a strong appeal for unity. Governor Uzodinma urged political actors in the southeast to set aside differences and align their interests, stressing that a more coordinated approach is necessary to address what he described as an unfavorable political outcome from the 2023 general elections.
So the only way to reintegrate properly and take charge of our destiny and heritage to be part and parcel of the going concern, which is All Progressive Congress. We must have a say in this fight. We must bring our first level to join our party. If you're a true Igbo man, today in Nigeria, you must be a member of the APC.
The meeting also looked ahead with conversations centered on strengthening the party's structure in the region and building wider support for President Bola Tinubu as preparations gradually begins towards the 2027 polls. In their separate remarks, party leaders emphasized discipline, cooperation, and a shared vision as essential tool for progress, noting that only a united front can reposition the APC for greater relevance in the southeast.
Did you drive on the road that came here? Did you see the road, the quality road? Drive around, you'll see more. Today I was coming here, I saw AI Center. Class, I mean, it's like what you see overseas. All the people that matter in Niger State politically from 1999 to 2023, they are all here.
We have come here, sir, to seek a higher level that you have called us today for us to continuously improve on what we had in 2023.
As the meeting drew to a close, there was a common understanding among attendees. Unity remains the pathway to political strength in the region. From Government House Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
36 serving personnel of the armed forces are set to face trial over alleged involvement in a mutiny case following the constitution of a general court-martial by the Defense Headquarters. Now, the decision was announced on April 24, 2026, in a statement issued by the Defense Headquarters, a fresh step to military authorities to address allegations bordering an attempt to undermine constituted authority. Military authorities indicated that the move is connected to an earlier position taken in January when concerns around the case were first made public. The Adamawa State Command of the Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, has intercepted 107 migrants residing illegally in the state. Parading the suspected irregular migrants, the State Comptroller of the Immigration, Sani Jega, said the interception followed coordinated surveillance and intelligence operations carried out across identified locations. Of the 107 7 undocumented individuals apprehended. 77 are Cameroonians, 21 are Nigerians, 6 are Burkina nationals, and 3 are Chadians. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello, I'm Theodora Itum. Let's take a look at what the weather has in store for us for Saturday. Now, if you're waking up in the northern parts of the country, expect plenty of sunshine and clear skies to kickstart your day. But hold on, as we shift our focus to parts of Adamawa and Taraba states, where there is a chance of morning thunderstorms rolling in. It's also a similar story in the coastal cities of Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states, as thunderstorms are likely. So if you're in this region, keep your umbrellas close. Moving into the afternoon and evening hours, things begin to change. Some of those bright northern states won't stay that way for too long, as thunderstorms are likely to develop in parts of Borno, Adamawa, Taraba, parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Kaduna. And it doesn't stop there. These storms will gradually extend into the north-central states, bringing possible pockets of rains and gusty winds. The southern parts of the country will remain active later during the day. That's our bit from here. Stay weather ready, and thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, has reiterated his commitment to sustaining reform momentum. This was made known in a statement issued by the Head of Information and Public Relations in the Ministry of Finance, Efe Owapere, in Abuja during the handing over inauguration. Oyedele commended the outgoing Minister Wale Edun for his service and contributions to the ongoing reform efforts in the economy. He further expressed appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the confidence reposed in him to serve in this capacity. The Transmission Company of Nigeria has straightened the national grid with the commissioning of a new transmission line connections at the Iwabo corridor, aimed at improving power evacuation and enhancing grid stability. According to a statement by the General Manager of Public Affairs at TCN, Ndidi Umba, on X, development provides additional evacuation capacity for the Niger Delta Power Holding Company and Azura power plants, improving the ability to translate generated electricity to the national grid. And the project involves the turn-in, turn-out connections for the Ihabo Benin and Ihabo Ajaokuta 330 kV transmission lines, which were successfully commissioned. Chairman, Dangote Group Aliko Dangote, has unveiled plans to build another 650,000 barrels per day refinery in East Africa, signaling an ambitious expansion of its refining footprint beyond Nigeria as the continent seeks to cut reliance on imported fuel. Dangote disclosed this during the presidential panel at the Africa We Build Summit, organized by the African Finance Corporation in Nairobi, saying his company is ready to replicate the scale and model of his Lagos-based refinery if government in the region provided the needed support. Our correspondent monitored the proceedings of the panel session. He sought the support of East African governments to replicate his Nigeria-scale refinery in the region in a move that could reshape fuel supply. On the foreign news now, Norway said it will present a bill this year, making it the latest country seeking to ban social network for under 16s, adding that technologies companies will be responsible for verifying the age of its users. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store says the country is introducing this legislation because they want a childhood where children can get to be children. Play, friendships, and everyday life must not be taken over by organs and screens. Several European countries such as France, Spain, and Denmark have already said they will introduce a digital age for majority for social networks, and others like Australia and Turkey have already done so. NATO says there is no provision for member states to be suspended or expelled from the military alliance after a report says the U.S. could seek to suspend Spain over its Iran war stance. U.S. officials say an internal Pentagon email had suggested measures for the U.S. to punish allies it believed had failed to support its campaign. The email also suggested reviewing the U.S. position on the UK's claim to Falkland Island in the South Atlantic, which are also claimed by Argentina. An NATO official says the alliance founding treaty does not foresee any provision for suspension of NATO membership or expulsion. Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM) has urged Nigerian citizens residing in South Africa to exercise caution and strictly adhere to safety advisories amid raising anti-foreigner protests in parts of the country. According to advisory intelligence reports indicate that additional protests are scheduled to take place in Gauteng province between April 27th and April 29th, with demonstrators reportedly seeking to pressure the South African government over the presence of foreign nationals. The Commission's warning follows a circular issued by the Consulate General of Nigeria in Johannesburg on April 22, 2026, which reported that demonstrators in cities including East London, Cape Town, Durban, and parts of KwaZulu-Natal have turned violent, resulting in looting, destruction of property, and injuries. In sports news now, winners of the 2025-26 Nigerian National League NNL Super 4 tournament will go home with cash prize of 10 million naira. The NNL made the announcement during the draw ceremony of the competition in Lagos. The four participating clubs, Sporting Lagos, Inter Lagos, Doma United, and Ranchers Bees, will get 2 million naira each as participating fee. Sporting Lagos will take on Ranchers B in the opening fixture of the tournament on Monday, 4th May. Doma United and Inter Lagos will clash in the second game of the day. All the matches will be played at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne. The tournament will determine the champions of the 2025-26 NNL season. Nigeria's push for global sporting excellence is gaining fresh momentum as the National Sports Commission unveils a new diaspora-focused talent drive. The Commission says the initiative is part of a border reform strategy aimed at strengthening athlete discovery, development, and progression across all levels. Building on the success of its Invita Junior Athletes program, which has already produced emerging talents now on the path of international competition, the Commission is expanding its reach beyond the country's borders. The newly introduced Invita Diaspora Athletes initiative is designed to integrate Nigerian-born athletes abroad into the national sports system, giving them a platform to compete for places on the national teams. Nigeria's push to straighten the Super Eagles attack has taken a fresh turn, with Nigerian Football Federation reportedly stepping up efforts to convince Williams Osolo to switch its international allegiance from Denmark. The 22-year-old forward, currently with Newcastle United following his move from Sheffield United, has enjoyed a surge in form despite limited opportunities earlier in the season. His growing influences was underlined by a decision goal against Manchester United, a performance that further raised his profile in the Premier League. Scottish Heavyweight Rangers FC have identified Nigerian defender Ryan Adebosu as a potential successor to the long-serving captain James Tavernier. With Tavernier expected to depart at the end of the season, Rangers are actively scouting defences reinforcements, and Adebosu has emerged as a key candidate following his impressive displays in England. The fullback, currently contacted the Blackburn Rovers until 2028, is also attracting interest from Geneva, Wolfsburg, and Everton. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a quick look at our top stories again. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has sworn in Dr. Dharma as Minister of Housing and Urban Development. The ceremony took place at the President's Conference Room, Presidential Villa, Abuja. In business, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, has reiterated its commitment to sustaining reform momentum. And on the foreign news, the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, has urged Nigerian citizens residing in South Africa to exercise caution and strictly adhere to safety advisories amid raising anti-foreigner protests in parts of the country. And finally, in sports, winners of the 2025-26 Nigerian National League NNL Super 4 tournament will go home with a cash prize of 10 million naira. Now, a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now, kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.